Hello again from the city of Kouvola in southeastern Finland in northern Europe. Here is the fourth part, if I remember correctly, of my walk on Wednesday, July the 17th, 2019, in the Helsinki Central Park. I unfortunately backtracked because I wasn't alert. I was confused by one underpass on the walking trail, and then I found myself near the central Helsinki suburb of Pasila. So I turned back and tried and managed to reach the northern Helsinki suburb of Pirkkola, where I took from where I took a bus to western Helsinki, and then from there I took a tramway or streetcar to the center of Helsinki. Anyway, fortunately, the weather was reasonably nice, mild, and sunny. Of course, it was a bit frustrating to have to retrace my steps, but I was able to manage it. And then I did take the right turn when I was going back. I did walk under that highway bridge, and then I did reach eventually the northern Helsinki suburb of Pirkkola. Have to learn a better technique in holding the tripod, because often it fell down or then to the side when it shouldn't have done so. See how far this will take me. Good, in order to fill time, read a summary of the Helsinki Central Park. In the English language Wikipedia. This is to some extent a repetition of what I read without a formal concept of any kind on my first video. So the Central Park has an area of 10 square kilometers, or about 4 square miles. It stretches 10 kilometers or about 6 miles from the Töölö Bay or Töölönlahti Bay near the business center of Helsinki to the border of Helsinki and Vantaa, more specifically to Pitkäkoski, to the Pitkäkoski Rapids. Rapids like part of the Vantaa River, which forms, I think for some, if not several kilometers, the border between the cities of Helsinki and Vantaa. And Vantaa is, by the way, the city where the Helsinki-Vantaa International Airport is located, where I too will travel on the early morning of July the 23rd, because that will be the end of my summer holiday here in Finland. And hopefully, by God's grace, I will come back again with my wife and then our soon-to-be adopted daughter in June 2021. And then we can celebrate also in advance my wife's 50th birthday. So the park is not a gardened one, but most of it is lightly managed woodland, and then there are gravel paths. The Paloheinä are roughly translated as burned hay or burning hay. A northern extension of the park is Helsinki's main center for outdoor activities because it contains that landfill hill called the top of Paloheinä, whose height is 59 meters above the sea level. So that's, let me now calculate. So that's over 190 feet above the sea level. Its prominence is smaller, but because at least one of its ridges is so steep, it looks actually somewhat taller than it actually is. A prominence meaning, of course, the hills in this case, altitude from the surrounding landscape. In the summertime, especially, it is used for jogging, running, walking, also for biking. And the most enthusiastic bikers start already in the early spring, to the extent that it's possible, if they have especially those so-called zits on their bike's tires. They might start already in February or March, and then they can continue even until November or December. However, in the wintertime, the top of Paloheinä hill is used mostly for tobogganing and downhill skiing. And many of those gravel paths are used, especially in the northern part of the Helsinki Central Park, for cross-country skiing in the winter time. So depending, of course, on the year, in some years it can already start in November, in others in December, and then there are those extra mild years when it starts, if it starts in January. And then it continues until usually March, occasionally April, almost never until May. Mr. Bertel Jung, a fairly famous Finnish architect, first proposed building a central park into Helsinki. In 1911. However, initially he proposed only covering what is now the southernmost part of the park, along with areas that are currently not part of the central park, such as those in Kaisaniemi, or literally Catherine Cape, named after a Finland-Swedish lady who operated a restaurant on that cape in the 19th century. A master plan for the Central Park was ratified in 1978. A general plan for Helsinki, city plan, I assume, from 2002 kept it in force. And then, of course, I could go back because there's still room in this on this video. Okay. Okay. From the official website of the city of Helsinki, https ://www.hel.fi slash HEL2 slash keskuspuisto slash ENG slash 1 Central Park slash. So traversing Helsinki from south to north, the Central Park of Helsinki offers excellent opportunities for outdoor sports and recreation, and it is a notably narrow park for most of its area of about 10 kilometers. Only in the far north does its area really swell. Although in Maunula, roughly in the center portion or central portion of the park, there's also a slight broadening of the park. Nature in the Central Park is varied with many different types of terrain and species of birds and mammals. Covering 1,000 hectares, the Central Park is 10 kilometers in length and an excellent representative of the Finnish southern coastal area's rich and varied nature. In the Central Park, the hikers can feel the rhythm of the seasons with their changing colors, light, and smells. It is a place where people go for an outing, play, do fitness training or sports, tend their allotment gardens. There are at least 2 such gardens in the Helsinki Central Park. One is to the west of the central Helsinki suburb of Pasila. The other one is close, a short distance to the north of it, in the Kivihaka or Stone Fence suburb, which I think is a part of the larger suburb of Ruskeasu or Brown Swamp. Study nature and just relax. Many city inhabitants go through the park daily on their way to work. There are 4 nature protection areas in the Helsinki Central Park's northern part. The Pitkäkoski or Long Rapids deciduous forest, the Haltiala, literally place of elf, primeval forest, the Niskala Arboretum, which is actually a part of Haltiala, and the Ruutinkoski or Ruutti's rapids deciduous forest. The forest in Ruutinkoski is protected under the Finnish National Program for the herb-rich forests conservation. The protection of the new Vantaa River's Ridge Nature Conservation Area is pending. The Central Park is at its widest in Haltiala, where the vegetation in the protected area is a luxuriant, untouched primeval forest. Haltiala currently has the largest and most cohesive forests in Helsinki. Mammals living in the Central Park include elk, badger, fox, Arctic hare, brown hare, weasel, raccoon dog, and muskrat. In the nesting season, the forests are filled with bird song. Bird species nesting in the park include black woodpecker, goldcrest, Eurasian jay, tits, dunnock, garden warbler, wood warbler, and red-breasted flycatcher. In 2014, the Central Park turned 100. The Helsinki City Council approved back in 1914 a plan by the Finland-Swedish architect Mr. Bertel Jung for the Helsinki Central Park. Okay, and this is okay. could still read well. Sections of the Central Park, again from the Helsinki city's website. Töölönlahti, which means Töölö Bay, and surroundings. The Central Park's southernmost part is transforming into a novel, versatile meeting place for city residents surrounded by cultural buildings. The park's southern end has a constructed look that becomes more natural when the hikers and walkers and bikers and of course also joggers and runners are moving towards the north. There are peaceful spots for relaxing around the Töölönlahti Bay. One important part of the Central Park's southern section is the city gardens, where flowers for Helsinki's beautification have been grown since 1907. From the Töölö Bay, the Central Park continues past the Helsinki Olympic Stadium, the heart of Finnish sports, which was the which was the site of the track and field competitions, as well as, of course, the opening and closing ceremonies of the Helsinki Summer Olympics in 1952. The stadium's surroundings offer many opportunities for different types of sports. A new football arena, the Sonera Stadium, named after a famous Finnish telecommunications operator, has been built behind the old ice hockey arena, and the renovated swimming stadium is a great place to swim in the summer. And in the Finnish context, summer usually refers to the months of June, July, and August. Records are still being broken at the old eläintarha or zoo sports field, which is used partly for competitions, partly for training. It has, I think, 6 lanes for running, and it has a field in the middle for example, football, the European style football, and various field events. Reaching a height of 72 meters, the Olympic Stadium's tower offers superb vistas over the Central Park towards the north. The stadium's buildings are part of Helsinki's cultural history. The stadium was opened in 1938 for what was then supposed to be, or what were then supposed to be, the 1940 Summer Olympics in Helsinki, but as we know, the Second World War interfered, and those Olympics, like the 1944 Summer Olympics, were cancelled, and the string of Summer Olympics only continued in 1948.